Hi! Welcome back! Unless you're new here, then, hey. How you doing? Welcome to part 2 of the live-action fighting game marathon, where I take a look at live-action fighting game movies. And if you haven't seen part 1, then, it's up there. It's up there. But if you have, then let's not waste time. Let's be talking about Tekken.
Now, Tekken is a 3D fighter that was created in response to the then recent 3D craze of the 90s. And even though it was games like Virtua Fighter that started this, it was Tekken that really cemented itself as the 3D fighter. And one of those reasons why it is remembered as the 3D fighter is because of the wide cast of characters that you can choose from that all feel unique with their own fighting style. Like, you got your standard Taekwondo fighters, your sumos, your masked jaguar wrestlers, your Bruce and Brandon Lee references, your Japanese idol robot with chainsaws, a fucking bear, wherever the fuck this is? Sure, you could pick someone like, I don't know, Steve Fox if you want, or you could pick Alex, the genetically advanced raptor with fucking boxing gloves.
Yeah, this series might be a little, insane.
And nothing emphasizes this insanity more than the overarching narrative. Because this story has ancient gods, demons, sci-fi technology, global takeovers, Akuma from Street Fighter, who is somehow important to the plot, mind you, and it all circles around the Mishima family. A group of rich asshole martial artists who all have a massive hate boner for each other, who by all accounts will cause cataclysmic events to establish that one of them has a bigger dick than the other members. And they're supposed to be the protagonists.
So knowing all that, how the hell do you make a film from that? Well, let's find out, shall we, as we take a look at Tekken the movie.
So the film begins by explaining that the world has been ravished by the Terror Wars. What were the Terror Wars? Good question. But now all governments have been abolished and the world is now run by a group of corporations known as the Iron Fist. And among them is one of the most powerful companies ever to exist. Tekken. Wait, stop the movie. Tekken? They called it Tekken? So, for those who don't know, Tekken in Japanese stands for Iron Fist, meaning that the group Iron Fist has a company called Iron Fist, and they all host a tournament called the King of the Iron Fist. Just why? Why didn't they just go with the Mishima Zaibatsu like the games did? But you know what? Fine. Whatever. Give me a headache over this. Also, can we just take a moment to look at the other corporations? Cause, those are some names. So we got G-Corp, that was in the games, X-Corp, Vectra-Corp, Valencorp, these are some creative names, Eiderdex, Brickhauser, which is just hilarious to say, but not as hilarious as S-Corp! We are not even a minute into this and I'm already finding stuff to complain about, holy shit. It's also here where we're introduced to our main protagonist of this film, Jin Kazama, who in this post-apocalyptic world, which no, the games did not take place in, tries to make a living by doing odd jobs like stealing high-tech items for a resistance group. Also, you know this is an oppressed society, because the youth have never heard of the Beatles! Oh, the humanity.
20,000 gigs.
Think of all the porn we can get with this thing!
So we get to see into Jin's life as he hangs around in bars, buys oranges and chocolate from shady people, and watches the news on the local jumbotron of Heihachi Mishima, who, wait, holy shit, that's Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat, what?
You know, if I had a nickel for every time an MK alumni show up in another fighting game movie, I'll have 2 nickels. It's not much, but this reference will date this video.
It's here where Heihachi announces the next King of Iron Fist tournament, which will happen in Iron Fist City, hosted by Iron Fist of the Iron Fist. And he does so in a very professional and reserved manner, which does not sound like Heihachi to me. I mean, isn't this the same guy who punches missiles and bites off tomahawks like it was nothing? I don't know, it may just be me, but reserved and professional just does not sound like Heihachi to me. But I will give points that they actually pulled off his silly hair design. Anyway, we then move on to Jin returning home to see his mother, Jun Kazama, who then just basically scolds Jin about stuff like getting a real job. Don't go to those bad ruffians in order to get money. And especially, don't go to that Iron Fist tournament where that child support evading bastard Kazuya is. Oh yeah, Kazuya is in this film. He is the leader of Tekken's police task force, known as the Jackhammers, which by themselves are a reference to the Jack robots of the series, which... okay, don't really get why you did that when the game has them established as the Tekken Force, which would make more sense in this film to call them that. But whatever, this movie has some weird changes, and no weirder change can top what they did to Kazuya, because, that ain't Kazuya. Besides the fact that he traded his Vegeta hair for Spock's beard, Kazuya in this film is basically a spoiled prince who resents his dad because he thinks it's his time to take over the company. It's his time that he gets the keys to the kingdom. While in the games, he's one of the most dangerous and ruthless warriors on the planet who, yeah, hates his dad, but that's more so because he chucked him off a cliff when he was 10. Also, he can turn into a demon. Anyway, Kazuya tells Heihachi that he's gonna take care of the outer sectors of the city, while at the same time having a hissy fit about not letting him be in charge. And Heihachi tells him, "Hey, look at me, bitch." So he takes his frustrations out by killing the resistance leaders from earlier, and murders Jin's mom the only way that you can. With a fucking missile.
I think you got her!
And when Jin finds his home in a smoldering crater, he vows revenge on the Mishimas. And the only way to do that is to enter the Iron Fist tournament, hosted by Iron Fist of the group known as Iron Fist. And no, I will not let that fact go! But the only way he can actually get into the tournament is to become the people's choice. And in order to do that, he needs to take on the last year's semi-finalist, Martial Law, who in the games is the Bruce Lee homage with his own restaurant.
What's wrong with your face?
And in this film, he's definitely... in it. Yeah, he's just kind of here to be the first fight of this film, and as it stands, it is a good fight. The back and forth of the match was pretty solid, and it had some good choreography, as it should because it's based on a fighting game. But it all comes to an end when Jin gets a flashback of his mommy telling him, "Hey, stop sucking," which gives him the strength to quickly dispatch Law and give him the victory, meaning that Martial Law will never be seen again in this film. So yeah, bye Law. Hope that restaurant that may or may not exist does well. We're also introduced to Steve Fox, who in the games is a young, gentlemanly British boxer character, and in this film, he's... not that.
Ain't nothing but a goddamn meat grinder to pump up the crowd.
You're a bunch of wankers. Every last one of you.
He acts as Jin's handler in the movie, and both he and Jin kind of gain a Rocky and Mickey type relationship throughout this film. And that's enough about that, because the next scene we get Kazuya getting it on with Nina and Anna Williams. Yeah, they relegate these two rivals to the sexy sister trope, huh?
I took a moment to unwind.
You should be making preparations for Iron Fist.
Everything's being taken care of.
Bitch. We then move on to the start of this tournament as we're introduced to our other contenders. Starting with Raven the Ninja, Sergei Dragunov, the Russian, Anna and Nina Williams, remember them, Christy Montiero, the Capoeira specialist. Then we have Miguel Roja, Yoshimitsu, Brian Fury, Eddie Gordo, my boy! And Jin. I'll also give this film some props by making almost everyone look like their game counterparts, so that's pretty neat. And also how the arena they fight in changes the backdrops in reference to how the game stages took place in different parts of the world. So yeah, pretty cool details, movie. Still gave Kazuya Spock's beard though. But before the tournament can even begin, we get to see Jin talk to Christy, where he's...
Sorry, I was just admiring your toes.
Excuse me?
Bagua requires very precise foot placement. The way you spread your toes, it's,
Well, at least it isn't vor.
But now the tournament has begun, starting with Raven versus Eddie Gordo.
Yeah, let's go, my boy Eddie! Woo! Kick his ass! This movie is bullshit!
So Eddie has been defeated and will not show up again for the entirety of this film. And my day is ruined. But now the next match starts, and it's Jin versus Miguel Roja, who in the games has a vendetta against Jin for killing his sister. But that's not the case in this film. They don't know each other, so he's just kind of, Jin's second fight, and that's a fact that we're gonna be talking about later in this review. And like the last fight, Jin summons the power of mommy flashbacks to win, but uh-oh, he's going a little too far and almost kills him. It's like he's turning into a devil. No, there is no devil Jin in this film. After the match, Jin is intercepted by Kazuya, who decides to give him some good old-fashioned foreshadowing.
Did your father ever fight an Iron Fist?
didn't know my father.
Well, not uncommon in the Anvil.
I mean, Jin, I've been down there many times before for a little hanky-panky, so I can confirm that... Oh, shit.
Later that night, Christy arrives at Jin's place in order to invite him for a night around town. They do stuff like partying, kissing, doing some weird feet stuff maybe, all to help cement Christy as Jin's love interest in this film, and like many things in this film, I just gotta ask, okay, but why though? Like, these are two characters that have no connection to each other besides maybe Eddie's and... frankly, everyone's mentality of fuck the Mishimas on a personal and universal level. I don't know, maybe it's because she was a popular enough character, or someone on the writing team had the hots for her, who knows. Oh, and here's a little fun fact about this scene. Jin is outright cheating on his girlfriend with Christy. Yeah, he has a girlfriend. Her name's Kara, who, fun fact, only exists in this film, not in the games. And she's just kind of... there. Yeah, she doesn't really have any plot relevance at all, and in fact, I kind of forgot she existed until... you know. But anyway, this all just culminates in one big question. Where's Ling Jiayu? You know, Jin's childhood friend in the games, who may or may not have feelings toward him. You know, the one who's been there through thick and thin by his side, even at the worst parts of his life. No? She's not in this film? Not at all? Right. Anyway, let's just get back on track, shall we? So Kazuya learns about Jin's heritage and the fact that, oh shit, he made that, and now he wants him unmade. And in order to do that, he sends Nina and Anna to assassinate him. And they fail with spectacular colors, which... okay, that does line up with the games, I will give you that point, movie. This then leads to the next day of the tournament, starting with Christy versus Nina, who both Jin and Christy recognize as the assassin from the other night. And it's also kind of funny to note that Steve is also with them, and he has no actual input to the fact that his surrogate mother is here.
What? You think I'm joking? Nope. That's his mom. And in the games, same age. How? Well, I ain't explaining shit.
So surprise, surprise, Christy wins the match. Hooray. This then leads to a series of events where Kazuya tries to pay off Brian Fury to kill Jin, Heihachi showing his interest in the young fighter, and finally Jin gets his trademark gloves from Steve, which used to be his old boxing gloves? What? And it's good timing because Jin now must face off against Yoshimitsu, much to the chagrin of Heihachi. However, now he doesn't really get an input because Kazuya decides to turn the tables and now he takes over the company.
It's done. I'm through waiting. Tekken is mine.
Bitch. Now Jin must take on Yoshimitsu, this deadly masked warrior wielding a mighty katana. Someone with intimidation that can cut down any man, and that does not sound like Yoshimitsu at all. Which kinda brings me to my main point that I've been talking about non-stop throughout this film. And that's how this film adapts Tekken. Or more frankly, how it does it right sometimes, but not really. Like, I will give credit to the costume designs and some moments of the characters being how they should from the games, but for the most part, the writers kind of use the characters as more of a template to tell their own Running Man martial arts dystopia film.
Here is Sub-Zero! Now, Blade Zero!
Like, let's take Yoshimitsu. In this film, he's the silent, deadly fighter with a terrifying presence. A far cry from the benevolent Robin Hood-esque ninja who fights by spinning like a Beyblade, jumps on his sword like a pogo stick, and spins it around like a helicopter to achieve the miracle of flight. Yeah, this series is silly, and that's something that this movie doesn't show. There's no lighthearted moments, no stupid stuff, or even characters that represent the odd or funny side of Tekken, like Paul Phoenix, Kuma the actual bear, or fuck me, where's King? The Jaguar Wrestle God is a staple of this franchise, yet he doesn't even get a passing mention, let alone an appearance. This film just takes itself more seriously than it should, and because of that, it feels like it just abandons some of the heart of what these games have. And that's not the only thing that's been abandoned from this film. Even the supernatural elements from the games are taken out. And by that, I mean the Devil Gene. The supernatural power that many of the Mishimas hold that allow them to turn into fucking demons. And it has been one, if not the, central conflict in Tekken, with characters like Kazuya embracing it and becoming an absolute monster, and Jin constantly struggling to suppress it. But in this film, no. It might be implied by Kazuya at the end that there might be a devil gene, and that's why Jin is going a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But I don't think that's what the writers were going for, and instead are just kind of implying, oh Jin, the anger inside of you is because you have genes of rich assholes. So you too will become a rich asshole. No way, father. I'm not gonna be a rich asshole. I'm gonna be better than that. For my mother's sake. Well, that depends. Did you cheat on your girlfriend? Well, a little, but then it's too late for you. Fuck.
I think I lost track of what we were talking about.
Bottom line, the lack of the more lighthearted and supernatural elements, mixed with the fact that many of these characters that all have their own personal stories are either relegated to a role or just being there, makes this an adaptation that only tries to be like the original for like a minute before slamming everything down to the ground below it.
I threw it on the ground. You must think I'm a joke.
Speaking of slamming to the ground, Yoshimitsu is defeated and Jin goes on to the next round. Or at least until he and the rest of the combatants get arrested. It's here where Kazuya introduces himself as the new CEO of Tekken, and his first degree is that the tournament will now be to the death. Because after all, death equals views. Like and subscribe! Also, Kazuya, my friend, my compadre, this is your goal? To get high views like you're some sort of internet critic? Because, not gonna lie, it is kind of a step down to throwing your dad off a cliff and taking over the world. Just a little bit of a step down. All seems lost, but thanks to the power of teamwork, they managed to escape. And hey, they even brought Heihachi along, so he can tell Jin that Kazuya is his daddy, and that he sexually assaulted his mother.
Hey, remember in Tekken 3 you can unlock that one dinosaur that came from a manga? And one of his attacks was farting on people? Yeah, that was funny. Can we move on, please?
But before you can even say, oh god, they went there, Kazuya and his forces arrive to capture the rest of the runaways. And here it is, the moment we've been waiting for. Kazuya versus Heihachi. The matchup of a century that defines Tekken at its core, and I'm just fucking with you. Kazuya instead just kills him off with a firing squad. Did you expect anything better? Cause I sure did.
I am Mishima Heihachi. I am Tekken.
Well, he's not entirely wrong with that saying. He could have also said this.
Your soul is mine.
What? You expect me to reuse a joke? A joke I've been reusing for, the entirety of this film? Nah, I'm gonna be original for that one. Yeah. What do you think about that? Bitch.
Now Kazuya forces Jin to continue the tournament under threat of Christie's life. And his next opponent is Brian Fury, who not too long ago sent Sergei Dragunov to the Shadow Realm. He's a ruthless cyborg killing machine, and as it stands, yeah, that is Brian Fury, just missing the iconic laugh. Brian shows that he is an unstoppable force to be reckoned with, but thanks to the power of mommy flashbacks, Jin is able to defeat Brian and win the tournament, which makes Kazuya mad. So mad that he decides to take on Jin himself using, oh come on, you serious, weapons? You're Kazuya! You're literally a martial arts master! You blew up a satellite from orbit with your demon laser and fought in an active volcano! You're like the strongest being in existence! You got into Smash Brothers, for God's sake! But because of this little stunt you're pulling, we'll just have to revoke that privilege and give it to someone who is more worthwhile. So wing wang woom, Kazuya is defeated like a bitch. And Jin, being of blood relation, is now the new successor to Tekken. Now being the symbol of hope in the eyes of the people, he will set out and bring a brighter future for everyone around the world. As it stands, he will bring on a new age, for the better.
And that was Tekken, and all I gotta say is... Okay, but why though?
The movie itself is passable. It's not bad, but really not that good either. But when it comes to Tekken, it's a bit of a mess. It's only faithful for about 1/3 of the film, while the rest it just kind of uses its characters to do whatever it wants with no regards. But really, the inconsistencies to the source material might be the only real interesting part of this film. So if you're not a fan of Tekken, well, you're not getting much with this film, and if you are, then you'll certainly dislike it.
And that ends another part of this marathon, which means we get to go on to the main event. Next time, we're going to be looking at the King of Fight. What? Say that again. Slow down. Say that again. There's a prequel. A prequel to this film. And it's worse?